What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. Today we are going to be doing episode 4 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, or I guess fixing the Pittsburgh Steelers series here, or mini-series on the channel. And today we're going to be running you through the first half of the season and essentially making a decision on whether or not we actually accomplished what we were seeking to accomplish, and whether we, did what we sought out to do. And then on top of that, we're going to be going ahead and kind of just discussing the moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made in real life and the directions that they're taking and whether I think that is the correct direction for the team or not. So first things first here, I want to kind of address what happened in this season so far with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I also want to address the fact that I don't intend for this to be a long-term series. I might even just end it here with this episode. But generally speaking, I want to talk about what happened with the team. So we started off the season actually pretty good on the ground, very good rushing game, actually a decent amount of passing yards with Mason Rudolph at the helm. But we weren't coming away with wins because Mason Rudolph was turning the ball over too much. He had a whole bunch of interceptions. And so what we ended up deciding to do once we were 2-3 was we decided to go ahead and give the other quarterback a start. Now, in real life, the Pittsburgh Steelers picked up Dwayne Haskins. I could very much see a similar situation like that happening in real life if Ben Roethlisberger does retire, or even if he plays poorly, that Dwayne Haskins, for example, which would be our Kyle Trask, could come in and play, or if the Pittsburgh Steelers in real life also decide to draft a quarterback at some point, a younger quarterback could come in and attempt to play and maybe, hang on to the ball a little bit more, maybe bring a new spark to the offense and help the passing game a little bit. And so ultimately, once we brought in Kyle Trask to the offense, he did fix some of the turnover issues. And really, that's all it was Mason Rudolph just was not getting it done in terms of throwing too many interceptions. However, the rushing game has been relatively effective this year, and I'll show you guys the stats in a moment. But what I do want to mention is that my running back strategy worked out pretty much flawlessly. And the reason for that is Leonard Fournette, won the starting job in preseason, just barely over James Conner. And Leonard Fournette had a couple good games, 1 or 2, maybe 3 good games to start the season. Then he picked up another ankle injury, which is no surprise. This backfield is constructed in a way that it does not matter if your starter goes down. You have an equal player that can come in and pick up their spot. And so James Conner was able to come in and pick up right where Leonard Fournette left off, powering behind this new offensive line and doing a very good job of running the football. Even mixing in some of Master Teague, the running back that we drafted, insert any running back that the Steelers might draft in the draft, and Anthony McFarland, mixing those running backs in and actually trusting our running backs to run the football because we've invested in our offensive line. Now, we have had a couple of injuries across the offensive line with Leatherwood, and that's where some of the key pickups of guys like Sharp and Warmack have kind of contributed to what's gone on here, but we've been very successful in running the football and everything that comes with that. So I would say that from an offensive perspective, we have successfully managed to do what we wanted to do, and we were sitting at 5-3 in a very competitive spot at the midway point through 8 games. So if I go ahead and take a look at our stats, I didn't mean to click on standings. We're actually 1 game out of the best record in the league. And so if we go ahead and look at our team stats, you guys will see Mason Rudolph has now been benched. But from a team stats perspective, offensively speaking, our rush offense is not too bad. We've done what we wanted to do in terms of salvaging our rush offense. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we're 18. So we're right around the middle of the pack in the NFL in terms of rushing yards. We've contributed 10 rushing touchdowns. Now, like I said, the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't going to go from the bottom team in the league to the top team in the league in a matter of 1 season, in a matter of 1 offseason. That's just simply not going to happen. However, moving up from the 32nd team to the 18th team is a pretty substantial increase, and it shows our efforts to improve upon the rushing game and our commitment to bringing in an offensive coordinator that's committed to running the football and things like that. And don't worry, I'll get into the real life moves in a minute. But we've been pretty effective in terms of moving the ball and switching our offense to be what we want them to be. And once we kind of took Mason Rudolph out of the picture, limiting our turnovers, we've been very effective in terms of winning football games because our defense keeps us in football games and we're able to tire teams out on the ground, and we have no trouble basically powering through teams and winning football games that way. And so that's very, very important. In my opinion, that's the route that the Steelers should take or should have taken in real life. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of the real-life moves. So the first move that I would like to comment on is bringing in Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. Now, I do not mind them signing Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. It's a one-year deal. It's a cheap deal. There's nothing wrong with that. However, as it currently stands, they still have Ben Roethlisberger on the payroll, which is creating a lot of salary cap issues for them. I know that they would take a hit even if he retired, but they're taking too long to make a decision on Ben Roethlisberger, and I think they're allowing Ben Roethlisberger to have too much time to make a decision. He needs to either be in or out so the team can commit to going one direction or the other. And I think that that's mistake number one, is that they're already waiting way too long to make a decision and put their plans into motion in terms of how to move forward. And there's even talk that Ben Roethlisberger could be attempting to have Pouncey attempt not to retire. He's trying to convince him not to retire, which, that's not necessarily the worst thing to have them back. Like I said, I don't think Ben Roethlisberger was the problem coming off of an elbow surgery, being a little bit inaccurate. He should be better next year if he does come back, but from a salary cap perspective, it is a problem. And they need to start their adjustment now, in my opinion, because as the team is constructed, they're not going to win next season. And so bringing in Dwayne Haskins doesn't do anything for me. Even if Ben Roethlisberger were to retire, Dwayne Haskins is a horrible NFL quarterback. Now, I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he takes over. I hope he's the next great quarterback in the NFL, but I just simply don't believe it. He played atrociously, even worse than Mason Rudolph did in his time starting in the NFL. And so I just don't see that ad really adding any value to us. To be quite honest with you, I'd rather play Josh Dobbs or Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges than I would play Dwayne Haskins. Maybe that'll change with him being in a little bit more of a successful organization with some better players around him, but I can't really see that being a positive move for the organization, in my personal opinion. Now, the next move that they made was that they brought in offensive coordinator, or they didn't bring him in, they promoted the quarterbacks coach, Kennedy, something like that, to offensive coordinator. And promoting a quarterback's coach is fine and all, but it's not going to resolve the Pittsburgh Steelers issues. And I think that the offensive coordinator or former quarterback's coach has been successful in many other places that he has been in, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that is valuable. But for what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do in order to fix their organization, their promotion of that man to offensive coordinator is not going to fix what they're going to do, because he's going to be another Big Ben supporter, diehard guy, make him throw the ball 50 times a game, and the offense is going to be too imbalanced to be able to be successful, and they're going to be too imbalanced to be able to do what they need to do. Now, I hope that he proves me wrong. I hope that he establishes a run game. I hope that they make a commitment to fixing the offensive line and doing these various different things, but I just don't simply trust it when they're promoting a quarterback's coach from within to their offensive coordinator position, which is exactly what Randy Finkter was. And that's exactly why the Steelers are in the position that they're in right now, is because they promoted their quarterback's coach that Ben Roethlisberger wanted to be the offensive coordinator, and look where it got them. Throwing 50 times a game and absolutely no rushing offense whatsoever, a broken offensive line, leaning on the arm of a quarterback that just came off of an elbow surgery. So that's no way to play football, in my opinion. I hope that Mike Tomlin is being put on the hot seat right now. I hope that the new offensive coordinator, the promotion, is going to I hope that the staff is going to commit to fixing what the problems are with this team, but I just don't see it. And so personally speaking, I think that the moves that we made in this franchise would have successfully and very definitely upgraded the Steelers moving forward and fixed their problem and established a more balanced offense. But you know, they're deciding to go full bore on Ben Roethlisberger, and I guess they think that Ben Roethlisberger is going to be great next year, and it seems like he's going to be coming back, and that's fine, you know, whatever route they decide to take, but I just can't see the combination of moves that they've made up to this point to be anything positive for the team, in my personal opinion. They needed an outside opinion. They needed a fresh voice on the offense. They needed somebody that could, you know, take what this team has and fix it. And, you know, bringing in a guy from within, promoting a quarterback's coach, a guy that is going to probably have this team throwing the ball 50 times a game with a 38-year-old quarterback that has a bum arm, is not going to get it done. So I don't personally approve of the moves that the Pittsburgh Steelers have made in real life in order to fix their team, in order to gear up for next season or gear up for the future. I honestly can't tell you what they're doing because they haven't been clear on whether Big Ben is going to be coming back or not coming back, or what's going on with the team. You know, what's their strategy to fix the issues of this season? They just simply haven't been clear about it, and they've made moves that to me are just not going to help in much of any way whatsoever. So you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed this mini series on the channel. Like I said, I'm not probably going to continue it past here because I just simply wanted to kind of make these moves, make these adjustments to the team, and see if we could be successful with these adjustments in a Madden simulation. And simulating up to week 9 through 8 games, this team is pretty successful running with a younger quarterback, as long as they do a successful job of managing the game and not turning the ball over too much. You know, transitioning to a team that builds around the offensive line and the running back is what you need whenever you're going to have this good of a defense returning for the future. And so, you know, that's my path to fix the team. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you guys disagree. You can let me know in the comment section. Maybe you guys like the moves that the Steelers are making in real life, but I have a feeling that a lot of people do not like those moves because, you know, they brought in Todd Haley, who was an absolutely atrocious offensive coordinator. I mean, yeah, like, it's great that you get tons and tons of yards, but when you can't score and you can't pick up a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1, that's you're not going to be successful. And then they promoted the quarterbacks coach Finkter because, you know, Big Ben was like, oh, you know, I don't like Todd Haley, we're going to have a feud, and so they promoted Finkter from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator, and we see how well that worked out. It's pretty much the same exact offense, throwing the ball 50 times a game, can't pick up a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1 situation to save their lives, can't run the football. I mean, there's so many things wrong with the offense that I just can't see promoting the current quarterbacks coach up to offensive coordinator as possibly going to fix anything whatsoever on this offense. So, you know, I have a somewhat negative outlook for the Pittsburgh Steelers going into the future. I hope that they prove me wrong. Like I said, I hope that they prove me wrong, but I'm not very confident in it. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video if you guys want to see me do any more of these mini-series. I was actually thinking about maybe doing one for like the Philadelphia Eagles, you know, a strategy to get them out of their really bad cap situation and things like that. I would do mini-series, and I've done them before. I'd do some mini-series in terms of like how to fix some of these teams that are in troublesome situations. So if you guys want to see more of that, let me know. Leave a like on the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you guys have a good night.